안녕하세요, 안녕하세요, it's Natalia, and if you don't know me, I've been learning Korean for about 9 years now, so a very, very long time. So I guess you could say that I have had time to figure out what works and what doesn't work when it comes to learning Korean. And today I wanted to share some practical emphasis on practical tips for studying the language while juggling a full-time job because it's so challenging to do both. Yeah, so let's talk about it. The first little nugget of advice that I want to give you guys is that you set goals that are actually achievable given your life and your schedule. And I know that sounds like a no duh, like girl, please, come on now. I already knew that. I feel like people get so carried away with like setting big goals, especially now at the beginning of the year. You're like, I'm gonna study 3 hours a day. I'm gonna learn 30 new words a week. Okay, maybe let's bump it up so it sounds a little bit more crazy. I'm gonna learn 50 new words a week. I know that sounds super good and great and like, oh my God, you're gonna make so much progress so fast, but like, baby, you gonna burn yourself out. It's not realistic if you have to go to work and then do other commitments like keeping your house clean, taking care of your kids if you have some, taking care of your pets, going to sleep at a reasonable hour, because yes, I do consider that a commitment. There have been points in my life where I'm studying Korean literally every single day. And then there were other times where I was studying maybe once a month. I didn't have the time. I didn't have the energy, which brings me to another point. Just because you have time does not mean that you have energy. Let me explain. Please do not feel guilty for bed rotting or just laying on the couch and like doom scrolling. I know like there are people that are like, oh, see, like you had time and you just didn't do it. Babe, you need time and energy to accomplish these types of tasks that require your brain. Tip number 2 is to incorporate Korean into your daily life. So if you're living in Korea, obviously like you have an amazing opportunity to just step outside your door and speak Korean to everybody and anybody that you see. But if you're living outside of Korea, this becomes a bit more challenging, but it's not impossible. So some of my favorite ways to incorporate Korean into my routine, if you will, reading product reviews in Korean. So Koreans are still like super engaged with like blogs. So if I'm like looking at buying a new camera, I can read reviews on Naver blog about that camera. I love doing that because I learn all these words and phrases related to whatever I'm looking at reviews for. Another way that I like engaging with Korean on a daily basis is by watching like makeup and hair tutorials on YouTube. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but over the past few years I've learned to do my hair differently. Yeah, I started watching Korean tutorials on how to do my hair. Another thing I like to do is watch Korean talk shows while I do like my little house chores and things. Speaking of which, I want to give you guys a few recommendations. So the first one has an English title of Hyo's Level Up. So the host is actually a member of Girls' Generation. Hyoyeon 언니, I love you. Her talk show is so fun. Like she always has like different celebrities on and they talk about the older days of K-pop and stuff, and they spill all this tea, and Hyoyeon's pronunciation is so clear. So even if like you don't have the best listening skills, it's really easy to understand her. The second one I have for you is Heri's Club. The host is Heri from Girls' Day. If you guys have been watching me for a long time, you might remember that Girls' Day was my favorite girl group up until they disbanded. Her show is also super fun. Like recently she interviewed some of the girls from Twice, and like I feel like I learned so much about my Twice girlies that I didn't know before. If you're not at the level where you can engage with this type of content comfortably without getting stressed out, another thing you can do is listen to your K-pop songs or your favorite Korean songs intently. Like you don't necessarily need to understand what's going on, but try to like hear the words that they're saying even if you don't know them. Like think of the syllables, think of like how it would be spelled, just to like improve your listening skills. Tip number 3 is to utilize native online teachers. So I feel like one of the things that really got me out of the intermediate plateau was taking online one-on-one Korean classes regularly. Now I know taking private lessons is a luxury for a lot of people, but if you have the resources to take one class a week or just a class every other week, I highly encourage you to do so, especially if you're someone like me who performs a lot better when you have to stay accountable to someone other than yourself. Why am I the way that I am? Why are we the way that we are? Anyway, I remember back when I had to take the topic 2 years and years ago, I genuinely hated studying for it because it's the most formal, unneeded, uncommon, unrealistic Korean ever. So I remember when I got an italki teacher to help me prepare, I started like improving in regard to that exam so much more quickly than I was by myself. And honestly, I felt more motivated to study for the exam and do well on the exam because my teacher was like constantly rooting for me. It's like, oh my gosh, I really had to do well, because if I come back to my teacher months from now with a bad score, she's gonna be so sad. if you're like, that's nice, Natalia, that's cool and all, but like, what is this italki thing? Italki is a language learning platform that connects students and teachers for one-on-one personalized language lessons. Like, I have used italki to take topic prep classes, essay writing classes, business Korean classes, casual classes, free talking classes. Basically, if italki has a class for it, I've taken it.
나탈리아 씨는 표현의 자유가 중요하다고 생각해요? 아니면 국가와 개인 정보의 보호가 더 중요하다고 생각해요? 이 상황에서?
이 상황에서는 아마 공공의 안전도 중요하다고 생각하는데,
네. 그 이유는?
개인의 자유, 뭐 계속 공공의 안전을 선택하면 나중에 개인의 자유가 있을까 해요. It's just like so easy to register for classes that I just kept doing it. Yeah, so italki has over 30,000 teachers worldwide. So basically there's always a teacher available for the time that best suits like, your schedule. And because they utilize the pay per lesson system, so no subscription fees, you can like switch teachers so easily. So if you try one teacher and you don't vibe with them, you can switch and like use a different teacher. Okay, I got all heated, but italki is sponsoring this portion of the video. So the first 50 people to use my code, Natalia2025, will get $5 towards their first italki class with a purchase of $10 worth of class credits. So make sure to click the link in my description box so that you can start your language learning journey today with italki. Okay, I need to calm down, but like, yeah, we love italki. Tip number 4 is to focus on what's relevant to you. I know it can be so tempting to want to master every single grammar point you come across, every single word you're exposed to, but like, that's not the best way to go about learning a language. I know, because I have tried doing that. I tried doing that for a very long time because I was like, you know, if I saw it this one time, I'ma see it again. I live in Korea now and I can tell you that is not, it might happen. There's also a big chance it won't happen. If you're wanting to come to Korea and work here, learn words related to your industry or expressions used in emails, because those things will actually help you once you get here and land that job. If you are interested in specific like social issues and you would want to discuss those things with a Korean friend that you make, then like learn words related to those social issues or that specific social issues. You might remember that when I was in level 7 or like 연구반, I had to go to class with news articles prepared and I had to present the story, and then I had to facilitate a discussion with my peers. And every time I had to do that, I always went in with like some case that was going through the courts about a crime related to women. Basically, I'm very interested in like crimes against women. So like I know a lot of words related to the Korean legal system and stalking cases and like, I don't want to say murder, but like murder. In Korean because it's something that I like discussing. Tip number 5 is to practice speaking in low stakes environments. So I know just speaking Korean can be really intimidating and honestly really stressful and really scary if you don't have the opportunity to practice a lot, but honestly, the thing that helps you the most is by speaking. Yeah, I know. I hate hearing that too because usually you need another person, but guess what? You don't always need another person. So some ways that I like to practice my speaking in low stakes environments are by just speaking to myself. I know I say this a lot and you guys are gonna chuckle again because you guys always do, but like my favorite thing to do is to imagine myself talking to BTS. I've been doing that for years, over 6 years. Probably. And honestly, it's one of the ways that I've improved my Korean speaking speed the quickest. Like, I'll be honest, I do think it's a little weird that I do this, and if someone set up a spy cam somewhere in my room and they saw me just like yelling at the air, they would probably have questions about my mental health. But you know what? My speaking skills have improved a lot from doing this, and I regret nothing, and I still do it today. I did it earlier today, so. Now, if you don't want people asking questions about your mental health, you know, because you're just talking out to the air, you can try language exchange apps. So this does involve another person, and I know like talking to someone you don't know can be scary and like all that, but like I consider this a low stakes environment because you don't know this person, they don't know you, and you are very unlikely to ever meet them IRL. So you can make as many mistakes as you want and they don't even know what you look like. Now, if the idea of speaking to a Korean at all is just too overwhelming for you, you can always try finding a study group, whether it's in person or online. So I remember back when I was a beginner and even like in those early stages of like the intermediate level, I always felt more comfortable speaking to other learners in Korean rather than a native speaker, just because I was like, oh, like you and me, we're both on like the same journey of trying to speak Korean. Like, you're gonna make mistakes, I'm gonna make mistakes, so you can't judge me. Like, I always found that to just be more comfortable when it came to practicing my speaking at that time. So I know, like, if you're based in the US, you can try like meetup.com. I found my Korean study group on there back when I was living in Dallas. I'm not sure, like, for other countries what resources are available that like connect people by interest, but I do think it's something that you should look into. If there are any tips that you think I missed, please feel free to leave them in the comment section for other learners to read, reference, and use in their language learning journey. And don't forget that the first 50 users to use my code Natalia 2025 will get $5 towards their first italki class with the purchase of 10 class credits. So click the link in my description box so that you can start your language learning journey. And I will see you guys in the next video. So, tama Vegas. Bye!